Hi everyone and welcome to my Unfiltered 20s.
A podcast about the ups and downs, highs and lows, and realities of life in your 20s.
By me, Abbey Parker.
And me, Lucy Martin.
This week we're going to be talking about all our favourite TV programmes, as well as the usual, what we've been watching and stuff.
I think with lockdown starting officially today,
Lockdown
2 is always good to have TV shows to watch. I mean, last lockdown, I don't know what I would have done without TV shows.
Definitely.
So, what have you been watching, reading, listening to this week?
So, watching, I know it's early, but I watched The Grinch. And
Wow.
can I just say how incredible that movie is? I'm now very Christmassy. I've bought myself a Christmas gnome.
The
If
second,
anyone's interested, we can... The second gnome.
the second
I
Christmas
actually have 4 gnomes. Because I have the mini ones as well. I got as a Christmas present last year. But not garden gnomes, like cute little...
like
Put them on your shelf.
teddy
yeah.
gnomes.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not weird, thank you. So yeah, I bought some gnomes because I watched The Grinch, and I think it's gonna be up there with one of my favourite Christmas films.
Are you talking about the new like animated one on Netflix?
Yeah, So that's the reason I've only just watched it, because it came on Netflix.
Okay.
But I think it like came out at the end of 2018.
Oh, I didn't know about it till I saw it on Netflix the other day.
Yeah, so I remember being excited for it because the music, or at least the song, is done by Tyler, the Creator. So I was like, that's perfect. Oh my goodness, he's got the perfect voice to sing a song about the Grinch. And then last year, me and my sister watched the original, like the 1960s Grinch, and thought it was going to be a full-length film, but it's not. It's like half an hour or something, and it's all in rhyme.
I didn't know there was an original one. I only know the Jim Carrey one.
Yeah, no, it's right. Yeah, no, this one, the 1960s one's like, I mean, look it up. It looks like it's made in the 1960s, but it's all like the original poem or whatever, because it's Dr. Seuss, right?
Yeah.
But I was interested because obviously it's set in Whoville, but not the same Whoville as in Horton Hears a Who. So I'm interested in the lore behind that. Horton Hears a Who, also a great film. It's just my kind of comedy, I think. I just like the silly, like...
Yeah.
stuff, yeah.
Is it the same... So the new animated one, is it the same story as the Jim Carrey one? Or is it a different story?
Yeah, I haven't actually seen the Jim Carrey one.
You've never seen...
I don't think so.
Seriously?
No, I've never seen it.
That's a proper Christmas film, though.
I know. Well, I never got it because before I'd watched any Grinch films. And I remember at school, we used to do, like, decorate your door at Christmas. So you would just, like, everyone has to... Oh, the class has to come together, choose a theme, blah, blah, blah. And one year, one of the classes did a Grinch one. Oh, no, that was it. They couldn't be bothered to decorate their door. So they just put a sign on their door that said, "It's been stolen by the Grinch."
Inventive.
So I was like, well, why would you want to make a Christmas film about someone that's stealing Christmas? But then actually it's a really good, great film, great storyline.
I actually watched a nearly Christmas film. So, have you seen on Netflix, it's a new one with Emma Roberts called Holiday?
I watched it the other day.
Did you?
Yeah.
I still haven't finished it because I really didn't like it.
Oh no.
I thought, maybe it's because I was in a bad mood when I was watching it. That might have been one of the things. But I feel like it was just like trying to be so like classic millennial humour. Do you know what I mean? And I just found it so cringy. I mean, obviously that's the point of these Christmas films. It wasn't really a Christmas film. It's like all holidays, isn't it? Which I did. Some of it I was like, oh, haha, quite funny. But then, I don't know. I was just like, eh.
I do hate when films are like, no, that's such a cliche thing that would only happen in a rom-com. And I'm like, you're in a rom-com.
Yeah,
This is a rom-com. Don't make it meta. I don't like it. But I watched it with my boyfriend, and I've never seen someone cringe that much in their life.
Exactly.
The ending, even I was like, that's makes me sick, it's so cringy.
Okay, well, I mean, I guess I'll finish it at some point.
Which holiday did you get to?
You really tested me here. I think I got to the bit, or maybe just a bit afterwards, when she like steals the chocolate from the chocolate shop.
Okay, so like pretty early on then.
Or maybe I did get further in, but that's the last bit that I can remember. Is the New Year's thing after that or before that? The one when they do the dirty dancing lift, is that before?
Yeah, that's before.
Okay. What about Easter? I watched the Easter bit. Is that after?
Okay. Yeah, that's after.
Okay. Anyway, it obviously wasn't that memorable.
No. I mean, I don't think I'd watch it again. It's not something that I'd be like, oh, look, we've got to watch this. Like,
it's such a shame though, because I literally love Emma Roberts, but I just feel like it wasn't. It was trying to be so like relatable and stuff.
Also, did you recognise the guy, the main guy?
Yeah, what's he in?
He is Meg's love interest in Monte Carlo.
Yes, I knew that. I recognised him.
I was like, I know this guy, and I was like, it's the motorcycle guy from...
Yeah, the one that the girl from Gossip Girl gets with, or the one that Selena Gomez gets with. It's the one the girl from Gossip Girl gets with, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It also had Kristen Chenoweth, is that her name?
Right.
Who's the auntie, and she's in like Glee, and obviously all the West End stuff, or Broadway stuff, I mean. But yeah, I mean, if you like cheesy Netflix films, then you'll probably love it, so...
Yeah, I think it would be a funny one to watch with people.
Yeah, I think if we'd watched it together, like me and Alex, we probably would have died at how funny it was.
It did have its funny moments. But...
So, something very exciting, which is kind of leading into our topic of favourite ever TV shows, is that this week Dawsons Creek was put on Netflix. Now, many of our younger listeners, like...
Yeah.
It's... So, for anyone that hasn't heard of it, which you probably haven't because it's quite obscure, but I watched it in sixth form because it was on... They put it on Channel 4, OD. So I had to watch it with adverts, and then last year they put it on Amazon Prime, and then they've just put it on Netflix, and it's like... And it was in the 90s. I think it was from quite early on in the 90s, and it's set in Cape Cod, which is in Massachusetts. And it's basically about these like teenagers, like there's no plot to it really, there's just these teenagers, but Katie Holmes, it was like Katie Holmes' first acting role, I think, who was married to Tom Cruise. And then Michelle Williams, her first acting role, she was married to Heath Ledger. And then you've probably seen the meme, so it's the meme of Dawson crying, which has gone around on Twitter like many times. It's the blonde guy, and he's literally like proper like ugly crying.
I know the one you mean.
Yeah, that's from Dawson's Creek. But for anyone, it's literally just like such a good like teen TV show. Like for anyone that likes like The OC, One Tree Hill, Gilmore Girls, Friends, like anything like that, it's just a classic 90s feel good. Bit outdated. Some of the bits are a bit like, oh, but it's good. Good for lockdown, especially.
That's true. It's good to get your teeth sunk into a long series in lockdown, isn't it?
Why don't you tell us one of your favourite TV shows ever?
Wow. Okay, well, obviously Gilmore Girls, but we've talked about that so many times.
But I think great for this time of year, especially during lockdown.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because it's I worked it out once. The entire thing, including the Netflix revival, is 128 hours.
Wow. So,
because I was like, wow, this took me so long to watch. I wonder how many hours it is. So I calculated it, like who does that? But yeah. One of both of our favourite shows is a Spanish show called Elite. And wow, I have told so many people to watch it. But it's really good. The first series is basically this girl that is set in like a elite school in Spain, right? And this girl gets murdered, and then it kind of jumps, so you see her get murdered in the first episode. Well, you don't see her get murdered, but you see like her dead.
Somebody, yeah.
And then it's like leading up, and then it starts beginning, it like leads up to the day of her murder and stuff, and you kind of like work stuff out along with the investigator, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's great, and then there are like 2 more seasons. It is a bit, I feel like some bits can be a little triggering, so like be careful.
Yeah.
Because there is a lot of like blood and stuff, isn't it, in that scene?
Mm-hmm. It's really good though, isn't it? You made me watch it one weekend, and then I think I watched the whole thing that weekend.
I think so.
And then
it's very bingeable.
We binged it, didn't we, the last day before lockdown in March, if you remember.
Yeah, I do. That was a great night. We got pizza, we watched Elite, it was great. But if you like Spanish shows and you haven't seen Elite...
Yeah, exactly.
It's a great one.
Especially if people that like Money Heist, there's a lot of the cast from Money Heist are in Elite.
A surprising amount. Obviously, our favourite being Nano / what is he in Money Heist?
Not Rio. Rio's also in Elite.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he is.
Denver, right?
Denver. That's it. That's it. And Mariana plays the ambassador's daughter in Money Heist.
Yeah.
And obviously, Lou from Money Heist is like a pop star in Mexico.
I mean, her Instagram is insane.
Stop. I sent you one of her posts the other day, didn't I? I was like, I can't believe it.
But for anybody out there that's like, oh, I don't like watching programs in other languages, you just forget that it's in Spanish. Just put the subtitles on. Don't dub it because it's awful. Just put the subtitles on, and you just forget that it's not in English.
Yeah, for sure. I think actually a great show that like helps people, like that bridges the gap between like watching in English and foreign like languages or whatever, is Jane the Virgin, because some of the characters are Spanish, so they speak in Spanish, so some of it's subtitles but most of it's in English. But that's another incredible show. That I was so emotional when I finished it. The last episode, I couldn't deal with it. But
I'm still yet to finish it. I think I've seen like the first season, I think, but you spoiled it for me.
Really?
So
did I?
Yes, you did.
I? Don't tell me. Don't tell people listening.
We won't.
I feel bad, but it's still a great show, even if you spoil it, because you're like, how is that gonna happen? You know. Saying that, I haven't rewatched it, but I do love it. It's just because so much happens, because it's basically a telenovela in English, right? So much happens that I'm like, if I go back a season, there's so much that's different. But it's great.
It is good. Also, the cast of that is great. I really like Gina Rodriguez. I mean, I remember there being like controversy about her, but I can't remember what it was. But
really,
yeah, I can't remember now. But I like her. I think she's good in I like her in Someone Great as well. I think she's a good actress. Oh
yeah, that was a good film.
You know what I watched last night actually? Parasite.
Watch? Oh, okay, right, yeah, the Academy Award winning film, not the anime.
No, not the anime, funnily enough. It was good. I mean, I've never watched anything like Korean before, but same thing, like once you put the subtitles on, you just forget that. But it was kind of it was a bit freaky for me.
Oh, was it? Was it like unsettling creepy or like?
Yeah, it was unsettling creepy the whole way through, and then the end was actually like horror film, like terrifying.
That's why I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah. But I mean, I didn't, it's not one of those things, I don't think, that like keeps you up at night, because at the end of the day it's like it would only keep you up at night if you're really rich and one of these people that like causes it. But anyway, but like,
okay,
I mean, I wouldn't say I was like terrified after watching it. It was just a bit like, oh
yeah, fair.
But yeah, one of the TV shows that I watched last lockdown, which I think would be good, I mean, it's not one of my favourite TV shows ever, but there's so many episodes of it that it would be good for this lockdown, is Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah, see, I can't watch medical stuff.
No, I mean, it made me, like, worse, because I would just imagine, because I found out more things, and I'd be like, oh, well, now I've got that. And I'm like, you haven't got, like, a bug from the Amazon that's crawled into your skin, but, like, it was good for lockdown, though, because there's, like, 20 seasons of it, and they're still making episodes of it, or something ridiculous.
I can't believe that.
I know. The first 5 seasons were really good, and then it just got downhill, so I stopped watching it around like season 12, because I was just like, this is just getting worse.
Season 12, that's ridiculous.
There's like 30 episodes every season as well.
No, can't be doing that.
Also, they did this, every like season finale would be like the most horrific thing ever. And like it would kill off half the main characters, and you'd be like, really?
See, this is why I've never watched shows like this where they have a reputation of killing off characters, because I know I'm going to get attached to them and then they're going to die. It's the same thing with Game of Thrones, right?
Yeah.
All my friends that watched it would be like moaning and like heartbroken because they just kill off characters,
exactly.
and they don't care about them at all. And then I'm like, so why would? And then you want me to watch it? That's not going to happen. I'm not going to watch that.
I'm going to tell you the worst. Like, spoiler alert, if you don't want to hear it, just skip along like 30 seconds or something. But one of the main, because they all start off as like junior doctors sort of thing. And one of the main ones is this guy called George, and he's in it for like good 6-7 seasons, I think. And then this is one episode, and he's leaving the hospital to go and work abroad. And then, so they have there's like a crash, and everyone comes in, and there's this guy who's that sort of like, his face is gone, and he's that destroyed, and he saved all these people in this bus wreck, and they can't work out who he is and stuff.
Oh my god.
And then all of a sudden, he grabs the hand of the nurse, and he writes 007 on her palm, and they all called this guy George 007 because he was the first doctor to accidentally kill someone. And it was George, this guy that had been in the hospital all day, that his face was like destroyed. It was their friend, but they couldn't work out who it was because his body was that like destroyed, and it was literally him.
That's horrific.
It was horrific. Like, it was like, and I was like, you're really gonna kill him off like that? I was like, this is crazy.
I don't like that at all.
No, I know. But yeah. But it's good for the sheer number of seasons to keep you through, but...
If you want to waste your time.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're trying to procrastinate,
well. Like, a lot of it is... It's, like, stupid. Like, you just, like, cringe at it because it's so stupid. Like, there's a musical episode.
I hate that. You know what? I completely forgotten Riverdale existed until you said musical episode, and then I was haunted by all those awful musical episodes. They must be really bound into those contracts, because if they had any dignity, they would not still be doing it. Cole Sprouse, I was like, he was so respected as an actor, and now look at him.
I know.
Now look at him.
Well, Lily Reinhart was in Hustlers, and I'm like, hon, you should just have taken that route in film rather than doing these stupid TV shows.
Well, when I saw the lineup for Hustlers, I was like, incredible, incredible, incredible. Yeah. And then I was like, Lily?
I know.
Really? I was like, they cast her? And I thought she was going to be really, like, childish, you know?
Yeah.
But then she wasn't. But I was like, her reputation precedes her. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if you know her from Riverdale, then you're not going to... I don't think you're going to take her as seriously, because she just runs around creating problems.
Tell us another of your favourite TV shows of all time.
One of my favourites is $1 Million Listing, right? So, if you like reality TV shows, this is a great one. But it's a lot less trashy than Selling Sunset.
Okay.
Right?
Also a great show.
Now, great show, but for different reasons. Because $1 Million Listing, I feel like if you enjoy interior design or architecture, all that fun stuff, then you will enjoy it, because they do show the homes, and it's kind of interesting to see like different, because my favourite one is the New York one. So it's interesting. I just find it fascinating sometimes how expensive simple apartments are, you know, and they'll pay like $1 million for a parking space, stuff like that. It's ridiculous.
Oh my god.
Yeah, in some of these, like, you know, in like the centre or whatever. So it's really interesting, and then there is some drama, you know, because they're like, it's like friendly competition, but there's someone will do something, they'll be like, absolutely not. And in the LA one, there's more drama, because it's LA. But then I think Selling Sunset is more, here's all the drama, and then there's a building.
Yeah,
do you know what I
definitely
mean? So if you prefer more drama based stuff, then Selling Sunset is the way to go. I binged it. It was great, but it doesn't come anywhere close to $1 Million Listing for me, because it's just, I love it. I literally pay for Hey You just to watch $1 Million Listing.
Isn't that why you were like debating a career as a estate agent?
Yeah. But I just want to skip straight to, you know, £1 million apartments in London. I don't want to work my way up, so maybe not a career for me.
You don't really want to be selling like 1 bedroom student flats in Earlston.
Stop. If they were like, you're young, we're gonna put you on the student housing team, I'd be like, I don't want to be hated my whole life.
Yeah, I know. I don't want to leave these students with a roof that leaks. Like,
I don't want to give these random people keys to the student house so they can go in and fix the window that actually they're not going to fix.
I don't want to...
Not from real experience.
I don't want to leave these students with windows that open onto the street that don't close. Like,
wow. It's almost like it's relatable for us or something. That's crazy.
I know. I don't know where these experiences, like, pop into my head from.
Well, yeah, where did that come from? That's crazy.
No clue. So, something that I've been watching for a long time, which I think I've talked about on here before, but I've still yet to finish, is Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which is classic.
You've never finished it?
I've never finished it.
I thought you were like rewatching it.
No.
Oh.
It's peak 90s nostalgia. I mean, I love Sarah Michelle Gellar. She's like the queen of like early 2000s, end of 90s. Obviously, Scooby-Doo. Yeah. And then it's got Lily from How I Met Your Mother in.
We stan.
But
I
yeah.
follow her on Instagram.
Do you really?
Yeah, she just posts her kids. It's really cute.
That's awesome. Yeah, it is a good program, but I think it's quite slow. And I tend to, if I'm watching something that's quite slow, I tend to go on my phone and stuff. So I don't watch Buffy unless I'm like really in the mood for it. But it is great, and the outfits are 10 out of 10. But I keep seeing spoilers on Facebook because it must be on E4 right now, because the E4 Facebook page keeps spoiling it for me, which I'm like, please can you stop it?
See, this is why I don't go on Facebook. Facebook is no longer a part of my life. Messenger, I guess, yeah, but I'd prefer not to. I don't know. Yeah, but then also Facebook just buying everything. Didn't they buy Oculus as well, like the virtual reality?
Really?
So I was like, what, are we going to get ads? Are people going to get ads on their virtual reality headsets now?
Oh my god.
Because they've ruined Instagram, haven't they? Don't.
Yeah.
I get too angry about these things. Ruined Instagram.
Give us another...
And they have WhatsApp. Do they own WhatsApp? Or am I crazy?
I don't think they own WhatsApp.
Okay.
I don't know though. Give us another...
Because they were going to change the name.
Sorry, you go.
Sorry. They were going to change the name of Instagram to Instagram from Facebook or something.
Really?
And I was like, just stay out.
Yeah. Give us another of your favourite TV shows.
I really love this series. It's on Netflix called Manhunt Unibomber.
Oh my god, what a throwback.
What a throwback. I made Lucy watch this. Yeah. I made my sister watch this. I made my mum watch this. So I've watched it at least 5 times. It's a bit traumatic because it's about the Unabomber. So they do show in detail some of his victims and stuff. But I just find it so fascinating because I think this series is what made me realise that I was interested in language and stuff. So now I do a lot of language modules for psychology. Because just some of how the characters talked about language, because that's how they... I'm not spoiling anything because it's history. That's how they tracked him down, is through his language, because he spent blah blah blah. He sent so many letters to newspapers and stuff like that he managed, and then obviously he released his manifesto, and then the guy that it follows, the FBI agent or whatever that found him, was like, you're all glazing over the manifesto too much, like this is it. And basically managed to track down Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber, through his language, which was like, I was like, that's incredible, I can't believe it. But
I found that
great show.
Really interesting, because you think of some of the things he says and you're like, low-key, like, oh my god. The thing about the I always tell people the thing about the traffic lights.
Yeah,
and
same.
He's like, if you're sat at a traffic light on an empty country road in the middle of the night and there's no cars for miles, but the traffic light is red, you sit there and you wait for it. But even though you know there's absolutely nobody around, and it kind of shows how much like technology has taken over our lives. But I mean,
exactly.
Yeah,
it's like, that's what he says, right? It's meant to aid our existence, and now it's completely taken over.
Yeah.
But Yeah, I found it so interesting. And then now every time I sit at a red light, when there's hardly any cars around, I'm like, oh, Ted, what are you doing to me?
Yeah, I know.
Because it's true. It does control it, because that's the thing. This is one of the things he said, I think, is you invent cars to help people move about.
Mm-hmm.
And suddenly, if you don't have a car, you can't move about.
Yeah, I know.
The thing is, I want to read the manifesto, but you can't just go around buying terrorist manifestos, can you?
It is interesting, though, programs like that, isn't it? Like true crime programs, like we were talking about a bit last week.
I mean, he went to Harvard at 16. Like, he's a smart guy.
Is he the one, I think, I don't know if I'm getting him confused, but isn't he the one that was, like, experimented on?
Yeah.
At Harvard?
They were testing CIA torture techniques on him. Like,
it's actually
interrogation
horrific.
Techniques. Yeah, at 16, because he was there early. Like, everyone else that they experimented on were a lot older, so their brains were more developed. So he was affected by it a lot more. Obviously still, don't go blowing people up, but
yeah, it's interesting, isn't it, stuff like that.
Yeah.
One of my favourite programs ever is Stranger Things, which I think we've talked about a bit before, but because I don't like horror things, as we know from last week, but Stranger Things is just like good vibes, like great cast, great nostalgia, great music, costumes. The cinematography is chef's kiss.
Incredible.
Also Steve. Yes.
Steve.
But yeah, I mean, if you haven't seen Stranger Things, I'm not going to explain what it's about because most people know now. But it's just like, I think it's set in the 80s, right? 70s, 80s, 90s. And it's
80s.
like, 80s, yeah. And it's like about basically supernatural things, government testing, the Russians, the Cold War, those kind of vibes. But it's just a good program. And there's not that many episodes either, so if you're one of those people that doesn't like to watch sort of like big programs, it's good.
For sure.
Also, one of our favourite programs ever, new season coming out on the 14th, I believe. What's the date today? So
It's the 5th.
So 9 days.
9 days.
Which is, we've talked about it many times on this podcast, but it's The Crown. Have you seen the new trailer?
I haven't seen the trailer. I've seen the thumbnail for the trailer, and the woman that's playing Diana looks like eerily like her.
I know. I've watched a load of videos.
I haven't seen the trailer.
Of them being the actors who play Charles and Diana like being interviewed. It's really. Oh, I can't wait. It's gonna be so good.
You're so invested already. I'm like kind of saving it.
I'm so excited because it's like this is the kind of history I was really interested in at A-level, so I can't wait.
What, like all the conspiracies about people who still live? I think that's funny.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be interesting to see how they do it, Yeah. Because obviously, I can't imagine how William and Harry must feel.
I don't know when. It won't be this season they kill off Diana. It'll be next season, I think.
Do you think?
Well, yeah, because they're only just getting married in this season, I think, and they'd split up and were like divorced for a while when she was killed.
That's true. Is it a new cast again then?
No, it's the same cast for this one, but with the addition of Diana. So I think this season will go up to probably the wedding, and then next season will be a new cast, and it'll be her having the kids and stuff.
Right, that makes sense.
I don't know because there's a lot of stuff about who Harry's dad is.
What, because he's ginger?
No, seriously, because there was an army captain that she was rumoured to have an affair with who was ginger.
Stop, this is getting too much.
So I don't think...
A bit like Khloe Kardashian then. I'm joking.
Well, I don't know how they're going to do it, but I don't think... They're not going to say that the royal family killed Diana, first of all.
No. Well, this is the thing. I'm really interested to see how they handle it, because I feel like they've hinted at so many things.
Well, they were like... Well, in the new one... I can't remember if it's the new one or the old trailer. They're like, if she doesn't bend, she'll break. And I'm like, you're literally saying you're going to kill Diana if she doesn't bend to the will of the monarchy, but cool. Like...
Well, that's... Well, it's because in the second season, I think, I think they were like, oh, no, yeah, Philip didn't have an affair. But they kind of hinted at it, didn't they? They were like, oh, no, he didn't, as far as we know. Yeah. And I was like... Because I remember when I watched it with my mum, she was like, are they saying what they think they're saying? And I was like, I think so.
It's kind of, yeah, it's kind of weird, isn't it? But I didn't think they would say a lot of the stuff about Margaret that they did. Like, I did, especially the early bits where she's seeing
Townsend.
Yeah, and also when she starts seeing Tony.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I was like, this is kind of scandalous from Margaret.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it'll get the 80s and 90s are proper sort of like scandal time for the monarchy, so I think it's going to get really interesting.
If my nan's going to be like, but I know, I think they'll do it respectfully.
Yeah, they will, because I mean,
they haven't got a choice, have they, really?
No, they must have royal advisors as well.
Yeah.
Like,
well, this is, you know, when This Morning comes on, and it's like royal expert or royal whatever, and I'm like, how? What do you know? Who do you know? Who's your source? I'm like, how do you know these things?
They have like special royal autobiographists and stuff who they employ.
But what, do they just tell them random bits of information so they can go and talk to Holly Willoughby about it? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, probably, because it's like a publicist, I guess, isn't it?
I guess.
But
yeah, but they're not called like royal publicists, they're like royal friend. I'm like, what?
Royal friend.
I'm not sure how many I've said, but another one, The Good Place. Have you seen The Good Place?
I've seen bits of The Good Place.
The Good Place, I think, has like peak. I don't even know. It's one of the best comedies I've ever watched. I think it's so clever. Also, I love philosophy, right? So when I first watched it and I was like, OMG, he's talking about Descartes.
Yeah.
But then it's just so funny, and they make like jokes about morality and stuff, and I'm like, that's so clever. That's so clever. They mix it up, you know. They've got like stupid jokes, because some of it is just stupid. They have stupid characters, so it's like, but it's just so clever. And also, I think because it's set in the afterlife, like, it opens so many doors for jokes that you can't do on Earth, kind of thing. So like Janet is like, well, she's not a robot. She's like an informational system, whatever. She knows everything about Earth, which she's named that because of the first, like, I'd have to ask my dad about this. The first like database on the web was called Janet, because it stands for something. So I just think it's so clever, because there are so many things they can do that you wouldn't be able to do in other comedies. So yeah, I love that one. It's over now, sad times.
That's another one that was spoiled for me, because I remember like last year, whenever the finale was.
Right.
The
finale?
Yeah. I remember being at my boyfriend's and they were watching the finale.
Right. Yeah, but...
spoiler. Can I just say spoiler alert?
Yeah, spoiler, just tell me.
Well, it was The Bad Place, wasn't it?
That's only season 1. There's so much more.
Okay, maybe I only saw the season 1
The season 1 is low-key the worst season.
Okay.
It gets so good.
All right, maybe
because then they know, you know.
Okay.
It's good. It's so worth it. It's so worth it.
Okay. How many seasons are there?
4, I think.
Right. I mean, I guess I've got time to watch it now, haven't I?
They're only 20-minute episodes. You zoom through them.
Okay.
I started rewatching it. Didn't even realise I'd done 2 seasons. I thought I was still on the same season.
I mean, we can't really go through this without talking about Friends, can we?
No, of course not.
Friends is just... I mean, I feel like it goes unsaid for our generation that Friends is one of the best programmes.
And I didn't start watching it until I got to uni, you know.
Really?
Because all my friends in like year, I don't know, 9 would be watching it.
I watched it in year 9.
Like, yeah, I would be like, oh, I haven't seen it. Like, I don't really know what's going on. I don't really know who the characters are. I knew who Ross and Rachel were, obviously, because they were like iconic. But I like didn't really know. And then I started watching at uni, and then basically binged the entire thing. Took me a while, but yeah. So then I was like, oh my goodness. And now it's one of my favourites. Yeah.
I mean, I think it's one of those programs that you can literally watch from start to finish and not feel exhausted of it. Like,
yeah.
Now I might start rewatching it over again. I just always watch the Holiday Armadillo episode.
Right.
And then
I always watch the Thanksgiving episodes.
Yeah, I love the Thanksgiving ones. I also love the ones in London when they're there for Ross and Emily's wedding.
I don't like them.
Don't you? I love those ones.
Well, I like everything apart from Emily.
Oh, I can't stand Emily. She's from near me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, her accent.
She ruins all those episodes for me.
She does. Yeah, I really don't like Emily. Who's your favourite Friends character out of the main? Like, not the main ones, I mean. Like, who's your favourite Friends character apart from the main ones? I know who mine is.
Who's yours?
Paul Rudd, but I can't remember his name. Mike, that's it,
Oh,
isn't it?
yeah, Mike. That's such a good shout. He's hilarious.
I love Mike, and he's so wholesome as well. Like, him and Phoebe are just, like, the best.
Yeah. The two scenes that come to mind about Mike is...
Piano.
Oh, yeah, that's true. When Joey... I don't know what Joey says, and he's like, you're a special kind of grown-up. And then when Phoebe's doing the crossword, and she's like, what's the capital of Peru? And then he's like, Lima, and she's like, well, I was kind of hoping it would begin with this, and he's like, oh yeah, you're right, it is Katox or whatever. And she's like, thank you. And he's just like completely fine with how like crazy she is. I love it. I think probably Mike, you know. I'm trying to think of the other characters. I like David as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say David.
He's funny. At the end, spoiler, when he proposes, then Mike proposes, and he's like, would you like my seat as well? And he's like, that'd be great, thank you. And he's like, okay.
Also, I know, the Brad Pitt as well.
Oh yeah, that's
one of
such
my
a good episode.
Favourite episodes ever, because that's just like, because I find it so cute that they were married. Like, I think that's so funny.
Yeah, that's actually one of my favourite episodes. I also, for some reason, love the one where they all turn 30. And when Monica's completely drunk at her birthday. I love that. And I really like the one that could have been, I think it's called. It's like a two-parter, and it's like... And Phoebe's like she's like on Wall Street. Yeah. That's funny.
Also, I like one from very early on where they're at the football game, and then the ice hockey game, and then he gets the ice hockey thing in his eye. Do you remember that one?
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
But yeah, it's just a classic, really, isn't it? Like, wholesome. You can always just put it on. You don't have to concentrate on it.
Yeah, that's a good one to be on your phone while you're watching. Similarly, I've been watching How I Met Your Mother for the first time. I'm still going. I don't know when I started that. Beginning of first lockdown, I think. And I've just started season 8, I think. There are 9 seasons. It's going well. I feel like I'm predicting it quite well. But they do kind of flip-flop a bit. So I'll be like, I told you that was going to happen. Then I was like, and then it changes. I was like, I told you it was going to change. And it's like, no.
Oh, I like How I Met Your Mother. I think I've watched it all the way through now. I remember I started watching it when I finished Friends in like year 9. And then I think I stopped after a few seasons. But then I picked it up again like 2 years ago. And then I finished it. And then like I've seen the odd episode. But it's it's like more... I'd say kind of like Friends, but more for like adults, would you say?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, well, this is the thing, because people compare Barney and Joey, right? The difference is they like say, oh yeah, Joey, you know, sleeps with a lot of people. But then Barney, you like see him trying to pick up women and stuff, so it is, I think, a bit like aimed at older people, whatever. Yeah, but it's true. Obviously it's funny, like he does stupid stuff like trying to pick women up in a dress or whatever. Like,
my favourite episode of How I Met Your Mother, I think, is the one with it's called like Single People Stamina. So it's the idea that like it's so true. Yeah. It's the idea that when you go clubbing with your friends, the single people can go longer than the ones in couples because they just want to go home and go to bed and get a takeaway. Because the main reason you go clubbing for is to pick up people. Yeah. So it's like Marshall and Lily are literally like sat falling asleep on the chair. Yeah. While the others are like dancing. Yeah. And like that is funny. Literally relatable.
It's like it's like the one where they go out for a night in a gay bar because Lily and Robin are like, oh no, like, we hate being hit on and all that kind of stuff. And then they go to a gay bar and they're like, why is nobody harassing me? Like, what's going on? That one's funny.
Also, the last 3 episodes of it are really good.
Okay, don't.
I won't spoil it.
Okay, good. We spoil everything else for everyone else, but it's fine. Don't spoil it for me.
I did say spoiler.
Exactly.
For 4 things.
Also, a few episodes ago, I can't remember what I spoiled for you. Oh, the Big Sick.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I didn't spoil it.
Okay.
Because he's married when he's doing promo and stuff. And it says that it's written by both of them. So I did not spoil it.
Okay.
Technically.
So, one program that we can't finish the episode without talking about is Narcos. Which I think we've mentioned before, but it's
Definitely.
just one of the... It's a really important series, I think. Both the Colombia and the Mexico one, because it's important to not just, like, watch things about our history and culture, you know, like The Crown's all good, but it's just about England and America, whereas Narcos, like, there's still drug war and, well, I mean, is drug war the right thing, but, like, there's still sort of gang violence and drugs and all of this going on in a lot of South American countries, especially Mexico today, and I think Narcos does a really good job of, like, bringing that to life and in an interesting and engaging way, and especially, like, the stuff about Pablo Escobar, like, everybody should know about that, but I don't think most people do. But it's just they're such good series. They make them so, like, suspense filled and tense, and the way that the actors are all incredible as well. Yeah.
And again, I think it's a good, although it can be violent, I think it's a good series if it's the first Spanish series you've watched, because there are bits in English and it's narrated in English.
Yeah.
So it's a good introduction. It's the first Spanish show I watched.
Yeah, I think same with me. It's so interesting because you don't know who the good guys and the bad guys are.
Yeah. Because that's one thing, because obviously they have people helping them make it from, like, Colombia and Mexico and stuff, and the US.
Well, yeah.
But
they had, so Steve and Javier are the 2 DEA agents in Narcos, the first 2 seasons of the Colombia one, and they're still alive, still do loads of interviews, and they sort of helped with production on the program.
Yeah, but I think they did a really good job of not what some series do, and being like, we're going to make the Americans look like the good guys.
Yeah, definitely.
Which they don't do. They're like, oh no, yeah, they shot these people, they tortured these people, like, blah, blah, blah.
You kind of hate the American. Like, I felt, especially, it's not a spoiler because it's history, but I think it's in Narcos Mexico in the newest season. And there's the guy who's married to the American woman, who I can't... Is his name... It's not Don Neto, is it?
No.
Oh, Pablo Costa.
That's it.
Yeah. So, Pablo Acosta, in the 3rd season of Narcos Mexico, the way that the main detective in that season, who I've also forgotten his name, but the American guy, he sort of has a relationship with Pablo Acosta. He, like, builds a sort of, like, rapport with him, and he says, like, I'll get you safe and stuff, because he's having a baby with his girlfriend, his wife. She's called Mimi, isn't she?
Yeah.
And then he's kind of completely betrayed by Calderone, I think, or Calderone, who's the local sort of, like, sheriff police guy who's working with the Americans, and they basically just kill him. And I was like, this is... Because he kind of started to do amends, and he'd started to expose a lot of the stuff that was happening, and he was
making his way out of the cartel, right?
And he was... I mean, I don't know that much about what he did, I don't know, but it's just... It was kind of horrific, wasn't it? Especially when he was having a kid and stuff. And yeah, that's the thing, like, the Americans do a lot of bad things, especially in the Narcos Colombia, when they shoot up that diner or the cafe, the restaurant, whatever it is, and there's...
Oh yeah, like the nightclub thing.
Yeah, it's horrific.
That's really bad. I remember that. But with Acosta, I remember watching that episode and being like, I can't believe they've just killed him like that.
I know.
And then coming into the kitchen to cook dinner with you lot.
Yeah.
And you and Alex being like, yeah, we've literally just done a lecture on him, and he did not die that gracefully. It was a lot worse than they put it in Narcos.
We did.
And I was like, I can't believe it, poor little, because that's the thing, you watch them and you get like attached to these, like, even you know they're horrible people, and you're like, yeah, but you didn't deserve that.
That's the thing. I mean, Felix in Narcos Mexico, you see him come from like just being a police officer, and then you're like, oh, he's not that bad, and then towards the end he's horrific, like he's killing kids and
oh yeah, I forgot about that,
everyone who lives, he's but you still like him because he's sort of,
but also you see what pushes him there.
Yeah, you do. Yeah,
so you're like yeah, you've made the wrong decisions, but you see the path that got him there, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's very interesting, Narcos. It's a really good portrayal. I mean, obviously there's some bits which aren't correct, and there's some characters which aren't real, but it is a really,
like Isabella, right? She's not real.
Yeah.
Is that her name?
I think they wanted, that was sort of like with feminist undertones, didn't they? They wanted to sort of show like, oh, well, women were involved in running the cartels too.
Which cartel was the sister in? Was that not Sinaloa? And that's
like
what's he called?
Isn't it?
Chapo, yeah. It was the cartel that was like at war, was like they're beefing Sinaloa.
Oh, I can't remember. I know there's actually loads of stories though, like we've learnt about, of women running the cartels, because why wouldn't they? Like if their husband's dying in the drug war, then why wouldn't they take over and stuff?
There's actually a telenovela. I started to watch it, but I literally only watched the first episode because it was just because after they released that like documentary of I can't remember what her name is, but she's like a big telenovela star in Mexico, and she was like basically friends with El Chapo. Like he like got her to come to his like hidden location and talk, because he wanted to give her the rights to his life to make a movie about him. And he thought that she could do it, so she like brought Sean Penn in and was like, let's make this movie.
Oh yeah, I remember this.
Yeah, so then after that, because she was like, oh, well, I've done a telenovela about cartels and stuff. So I looked it up. It's called La Reina del Sur, which basically like the Queen of the South, right? And then basically, I think the premise of the telenovela is that her husband is killed, and she gets a tip off that they're coming for her. So she's trying to escape. And at the first episode that I've watched, she's like scared for her life, because she's just basically had like a life of luxury, hadn't had to do anything. And suddenly she's like pleading for her life. But then I think the series she turns it around and she becomes the cartel leader. And she's like, no one else is taking over this. It was my husband's, it's mine now.
Have you got any final recommendations for our listeners for this week?
Well, just anything we've talked about. If you haven't watched it, give it a watch. Start with something juicy. Start with I don't know. What do you think is the best thing to start during lockdown?
I think maybe if you want to start with a Spanish thing, maybe start with Money Heist.
Although especially the most recent season, my heart didn't stop pounding the whole time I was watching it. It's not a relaxing watch, but it's good.
Something more chill than Gilmore Girls, obviously, or Friends. Obviously. If you've never seen Friends, then you need to start with Friends.
I feel like you need to watch it just for like the references in life.
Yeah. I haven't got any veggie recommendations this week. I haven't really had anything new.
Didn't you try some veggie meatballs or something?
Oh no, I saw these Moving Mountains hot dogs, but I haven't tried them.
That was it.
I haven't tried them yet.
Okay,
I've had to navigate like coming home and like trying not to eat meat. So the other night my mum made like a chicken biryani, and I had to just pick the chicken out. Oh my God. Which obviously isn't ideal because there was like still bits of chicken in there, but we're trying.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, we're both remote now. We're both locked down and at home. Yeah, keep us updated on how that vegetarian and a meat eater house is going.
I am going to order Papa John's tomorrow. I'm going to get the vegan one.
Nice.
So I'll let you guys know next week how it was. I'm going to try the jackfruit pepperoni, so... Hopefully
Interesting.
it's good, because everyone raves about Papa John's vegan. Apparently it's the best cheese and stuff, so we'll give it a go.
Interesting.
Yeah. Right, well, thank you everybody for listening this week. Next week, maybe we should talk about mental health or something, considering we're all dealing with lockdown. Very important topic, especially with November this month as well.
That's a good idea. Check out our Spotify and Google podcast accounts, as well as the YouTube channel. Make sure you follow us on all social media, My Unfiltered 20s on Twitter and Unfiltered 20s podcast on Instagram for updates and general content.
Bye everyone.
Bye.